everybody. Welcome back to the Hello Goddess podcast. I am your host, Mandy Dia, a recently graduated naturopath. And today we have a special guest. Her name is Fannie Lang. Welcome, Fannie.
Hi, Mandy. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a
Thank-
pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy that we connected. Um, I think we had mutual friends on Instagram at the time when I found you, and I just really connected to your energy, you have this soothing, grounding energy that's so powerful and so healing. So, I'm really thankful that I found you.
Thank you for that. That's lovely. I truly believe that we seen others what we reflect from ourselves. So I will
Oh,
send the compliment right back at you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. So I want to jump right into the value here because I know you have so much knowledge to share, and we have only 40 minutes for this episode. So I want to begin by talking about something that I notice a lot in my practice and even in my personal life. Like, I noticed that a lot of people are experiencing overwhelm and
Mm.
fatigue and depletion. So I was wondering, with your knowledge and expertise, what do you believe is the problem here, and what is one of the solutions that we could talk about today?
That is such an observation that I also notice a lot in my world, and I'm glad that you brought it up. Because I feel that a lot of people almost get stuck in this, I don't want to say, well, yeah, stuck in like this little loop of not knowing how to get out of, because the overwhelm and the stress feels overwhelming in itself, if that makes sense, you know?
Mhm.
And the depletion and the exhaustion, and it's like, where do you turn? Where do you go from there? So, I mean, I feel that there are a lot of different causes as to what could be contributing to overwhelm, what could be contributing to fatigue, to depletion and exhaustion. And I love the holistic approach of looking at the body, mind, spirit, and the heart, and to really look at an individual where we are at, and to be able to just to support each one individually. Um, and I mean, you look at where we're at in 2024 right now, life is busy. We are constantly bombarded by a lot of, like, there's so much coming at us. So not only I feel that overwhelm can be coming from all these external stimuli that I don't feel that our nervous system has the capacity to take in all of it, right?
Mhm,
This
mhm,
makes sense. Um, So I guess, yes, that's one thing. Our external environment can be contributing to this overwhelm. One of the greatest things that I've learned in the last couple of years in studying emotional intelligence and emotional fitness is that, like, each emotion has a message. And the message behind overwhelm is I don't know what to prioritize. There's too many things going on.
mhm,
So,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
So it's, yes, being overstimulated and having like being bombarded by all the options that we have, but
Mhm,
not knowing which one to focus on and which one to prioritize, I
mhm,
feel is kind of like at the core of overwhelm.
mhm. That makes a
Mhm,
lot of sense. And even like for myself, I've noticed that just like social media or a TikTok, I would scroll like for hours on TikTok. And I
mhm,
think that our society and our culture evolved too quickly for our biology. And now we're trying to like, make it or function in this world where we're not supposed to be according to our biology. So and
mm.
like you said, overwhelm is so common, and it leads to fatigue, it leads to stress, it leads to so many things. What do you think is a solution if somebody's listening and they're like, yes, this is what I'm dealing with right now? What would you suggest to them?
Mm. So can I actually share one thing that is coming through to another
100%,
thing
yeah.
that is contributing? Because yes, as much as like social media and everything that is we've evolved to as a society is contributing to overwhelm, I also feel that we we've been moving in a direction where it's a very individualistic way
Ooh.
of being, and that a lot of us feel alone and isolated, and we feel that we are tackling and juggling the the experience and the problems that come with being human, that we're doing it all alone. And that is
Mhm.
another extremely heavy weight and burden to carry. Because I don't believe that back in the day that you were not facing everything by yourself. You had a community, you had a tribe, you had people there to support you. And we
Mhm.
don't have all the same strengths, you know? We don't have all
Mhm.
the same, and we don't have all the same weaknesses, so we can collaborate. I feel that the fact that we're trying to juggle everything by ourselves, and that in itself is also contributing to overwhelm, exhaustion, depletion.
Mhm. Mhm.
So to come back to your question of what do you feel is the solution? What do I think is the solution? Um, I think it's going to look different for everyone, but just the simple first step of like getting really clear on what our priorities are, what our goals and values, and life what kind of life and what kind of experience do you want to create for yourself?
Mhm.
Because another thing that I feel contributes to this is the fact that we have been conditioned to seek externally for direction, for guidance, for answers. And that in itself is also creating misalignment and discord within ourselves, which that
Mhm.
looks like anxiety for a lot of us, like we are not on the right path. Something is out of alignment. And I mean, there's more to anxiety than that. Um, but I feel that when we get crystal clear on what it is that we want, what's at our core, and then because we kind of like set our North Star, and that allows us to wean out basically um, the leaks, like
Mhm.
where are you putting your attention on a day-to-day basis? Um, what are you putting your attention on? And how much of it is supporting you and moving you towards what you ideally want versus how much of it is just keeping you in this loop, in this rat race
Mhm.
of spinning
100%.
around in circles?
Mm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have chills because I think this, like, if you're listening right now, I think this is such a powerful answer. Like, tune into yourself, go into your own soul, into your own consciousness, connect with your intuition, and ask yourself these big questions like, am I aligned right now? Maybe you have so many voices outside of you telling you different things.
Mm.
And you don't have to do everything alone. Like you said, it's so important to have community and you're playing a vital part in this world and you don't have to do everything. Like you said, like we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and it's like playing with these strengths, connecting to your purpose, connecting to your soul, and that is what gives us life. That's what gives us energy. Instead of trying to be everything for everyone all at once and just not knowing where you're going and kind of like having those wheels stuck into the mud and just going nowhere.
Right.
So yeah, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for saying that.
Well, thank you for bringing us there. Because we
Yeah.
were talking before we started to record, like the fact that as kids, like the younger we learn to cultivate that muscle of going within and building that trust with ourselves, with our intuition, like it's going to serve us for our entire lives. And some of us, we're only learning to do it now. Some of us, it's later in their 50s, 60s. I do believe that we end up facing this work when we're ready to face it and start cultivating these habits and practices. But the sooner, the better. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so beautiful how you said that. No, it's so true. And I think like starting small with a practice, either it's like meditation, journaling, yoga, whatever, like walking in nature, really connecting with yourself.
Mhm.
And it's just a powerful practice to start wherever you are in the journey. It doesn't matter your age. And
Yes.
yeah. And I I kind of want to segue into purpose because I know this is something
Mm.
that you really love to talk about as well. So once we tune into ourselves and start to connect with the deeper part of ourselves that is guiding us in life. How does that purpose go into this? How does Dharma go into this? Because I think I personally, when I discovered what I wanted to do with my life, it really gave me that energy, gave me that
Yes.
power. Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm curious to know what your perspective is on this.
Oh, I love that you brought that and just that you brought in, like you highlighted the energy that it gave you. And that's exactly what resonates true for me as well. That like we're all born with specific things that we tend to gravitate towards that we enjoy. And we're not all meant to enjoy the exact same things, right? Or else, like, yeah, the world, we would all be the same. But I do believe that we all play like a piece of a big puzzle, right?
Yeah.
And when we're able to tune into and connect to the things that light us up, like you
Mhm.
can really feel when you like close your eyes and go within and imagine a time when something felt like it was just like no to you, I
Yeah.
was like, meh, whatever. You end up doing it and it's fine, but like you feel that like the drag in your energy
Yeah.
versus if you connect to another time when it was like a hell yes, there was no doubt, it was a clear yes, and you what that feels like in your body. And
Mhm.
I know for me anyways, it feels like my heart expands, my
Yeah.
chest, like
Mhm.
everything opens up.
Mhm.
And when I choose to prioritize, well, when I choose or when we choose to prioritize these things, the energy that that brings into the world and that ripple effect that it has, it's completely like it transforms everything.
Yeah.
And I love how I often hear this from like mentors and teachers and books that I read of like, the more we follow our purpose, the more that it doesn't matter if we're not going to transform the whole entire world, just starting with our close inner circle and our family members and our communities and how that impacts everyone else. Because you never know how you saying yes to yourself and you choosing what lights you up, how that impacts other people
Yeah.
and
That's
the
so
that it
true.
has.
I love the visual that you gave us. Like it's like a ripple effect. And a lot of people think like, okay, this is my person. I'm supposed to change the world. Like maybe from the outside, maybe it doesn't look like you are. But when you're in
Mm,
your purpose, it doesn't matter what position you have in this world, you're creating a ripple, a positive ripple, because you were created to do a specific thing here on earth at this moment. And
mhm.
and I think that a lot of people when they think about finding their purpose, they kind of get overwhelmed with it. Like it's almost like too much pressure to find the exact thing that they're supposed to do. Um, do you have any advice to somebody that's listening and they're like, I don't know what my purpose is? What would you suggest to them?
Oh my goodness, yes, I do. Because I feel like that pressure that we tend to experience comes from this way of being that the generations before us, like they chose one thing and they did the same thing until they retired, right?
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
feel that we are outgrowing that and realizing that that's not necessarily the case for everyone. And our purpose might change over
Hmm.
time. Something that excites you today might not be the same thing that excites you next year. And what excites you today might be the path unfolding to something even bigger in the future.
Yeah.
So, for someone that's questioning themselves right now, I would say, like, for one, follow what excites you and say yes more to the things that light you up and trust in saying no to the things that don't, even though it might not make sense. Your no just means that there's someone else better suited for that opportunity,
Hmm.
and that is a very hard thing to snap, like to break, because I do feel that I can resonate with this, and I know that a lot of my clients resonate with these people pleasing tendencies that we have of like not
Hmm.
wanting to disappoint people. Um, so just being able to like untangle out of these patterns and just trusting that like our no is valid. So
Hmm.
honoring the no's and honoring and celebrating the yes and even celebrating the no's because it's a big deal to say no.
Yeah,
And just
it is.
like I love like how you see this quote every once in a while, like no is a complete sentence. You don't have to
Yeah.
explain your no. Um, but definitely that. And then if you're in a state where things just feel fuzzy and you really don't know what excites you or what doesn't, and it's just like, well, okay, trust that it's going to come. And for
Mhm.
me, this is where faith comes in and my relationship to universe, source, creator. I use different words for this
Me too.
source that we have
Yeah.
guiding us. And it's funny that I do this, but really I feel like it's in here.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you
Um,
mean.
but just asking for like, what's my next step, you know, or help me see this differently, help me see myself differently. What would you have me do, you know?
Mm.
And just asking for that guidance, trusting that it's going to come, to not stay like sit dwelling on it and just wait for the answer to come, because usually I find what I love to do to move the energies to like, yes, set the intention, ask the question, but
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, then get off the topic and go do something for fun. I'll go to the beach, I'll go hike, I'll go for a yoga class, like I'll go do whatever. I'll go hang out with friends. And the answer always comes. It always
Yeah.
comes. And there's a big piece of this, I think that just yeah, having faith that the answers are going to come. There are no right or wrong answers, and there are no right or wrong paths either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, wow. I have chills right now because I'm thinking about the person listening to this that might be, overwhelmed, depleted, and kind of lost and stuck in life. And it's like, okay, this might be the good, the positive step forward that they need, the validation that you can ask the universe, you can ask and trust that you're going to be guided. And the word trust for me is very important because um it's just so foundational, like trusting your intuition, trusting life, trusting the universe. And then, taking these baby steps. And it's difficult sometimes to go towards your dreams because we have this fear of being judged. We have this fear of disappointing people because of our people-pleasing tendencies. And but it's so rewarding when we're able to go towards what we're supposed to be, why we're supposed to be here. And you said it, where would you have me go? And that reminds me of the prayer from the Course in Miracles. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom? And that is one of my prayers in the morning. I love that so much.
Same.
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're the same. We're
Yeah.
twins.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. It's powerful, and I think we have to highlight too, like sometimes your purpose is giving a hug. Sometimes your purpose
Mhm.
is speaking on stage. Sometimes your purpose is working at a bookstore. Sometimes it's being a mother. It's so many different dimensions to this. And you'll
Right.
know by the energy that it gives you, like you said earlier.
100%. Like
Mhm.
it's the simplest things. We were at the grocery store yesterday, and my dear friend that was with me, she just because the clerk was kind of like, I don't want to say on repeat, but he was like, "Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?" And she was like, "I'm
Yeah.
so good." She's like, "How are you?" And he's like, "I'm good." And all of a sudden, he just like snapped out of it. He's like, "Actually," he's like, "I'm pretty great. I'm like having a great day. I saw this friend of mine," and he started going on, and he was like, he just lit right up. And we left, and
I
I was like, oh my gosh, you could like really see his shift in energy. And even for us, like it was fun to have this little random interaction, you know? So just
100%.
simple things, giving people smiles, saying
Yes.
hi, you know.
Yes. I kind of like relate to that too, like being present, like paying
Mm,
attention in your life. Because sometimes we're so like tunnel vision, like this is supposed to be my mission, and you're seeing like you're missing all the opportunities all around you,
mhm.
that are showing up to
Yes,
guide you towards where you're supposed to be going.
right.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful practice, eh?
Mhm.
Cultivating this awareness of presence and what am I
Yeah.
present to right now?
Yeah.
Noticing it in your body, noticing everyone around you,
Mm. Hmm.
learning to cultivate seeing the beauty in things and what that
Yeah.
does to your energy.
Yes.
It,
What are your thoughts about gratitude? Like this, but like, do you practice it? Do you have a practice or yeah?
yes, yes, I love gratitude. I often like one of my favorite ways is at night as I'm going to bed, I reflect on my day and I'm like, wow, like what did I experience today that I'm so grateful for? The beauty, the gifts, like everything, you
Mhm.
know? What miracles did I witness today? Because I felt like that I correlate into miracles. And I love that. And it just raises my energy going to bed in a good mood. And
Mhm.
first thing in the morning, the very thing I do when I like come to consciousness, I'm like, ah, thank you for this night of rest. Thank you for this sleep. Thank you for this day. And I also touch base on it again. I journal every morning. And in my journaling practice, I like to reflect. I kind of like say thank you again of like the things that I'm grateful for. And then I love to say thank you to the things that I'm setting intentions for as if they've already happened. So that's part of like my manifestation
Yeah.
co-creating practice. Just,
Mhm.
like thank you for the amazing sessions I'm going to have with my clients today. Thank you for the clarity that I'm going to get for like this piece of content that I'm going to be working on today. Thank you for like all the fun people I'm going to see at the coffee shop today, for the nice hike, for the time at the beach, and saying thank
Yeah.
you in that way as well.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I love that you say it in present tense. So it's like tricking your mind into believing that you already have it and magnetizing that into your life. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love that so much.
Mm.
I want to go a little bit into physical health because we're
Mhm.
both in similar fields and we both know that physical health is connected to all of the other spheres in our lives.
Mhm.
So, what do you think, like generally speaking, somebody listening to this podcast, what would you suggest to them to improve their physical health right now?
Oh,
It
honestly,
could be anything.
sleep. Oh, sleep, movement, and nutrition. I find like they're the three main pillars
Yeah.
that can help like really completely shift the momentum, and like hydration,
Mhm.
drinking, not only drinking enough water, but drinking good quality water,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say,
Those
yeah,
three.
and specifically sleep, because I find like it's almost like an umbrella and it's so easy to overlook it.
Hmm.
But if we're not sleeping properly, it's hard to have the energy to move. It's hard to make better food choices because we're often tired and our bodies are going to naturally gravitate towards the things that are going to give us more energy, which is sugar. And then
Mm.
that
Hmm.
keeps us in this I don't want to say negative, but in this spiral of of lower frequency and low energy, because when we eat too much sugar, our energy just goes up like an up and down roller coaster. And especially when we eat sugar during the day, if we eat it too late at night, then that's also going to affect your sleep.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's so
really,
much
really
to be said
important.
about this.
Oh my goodness, it could be its own episode on its own, nutrition and stuff.
Yes.
But I think like people are trying to find hacks, right, all the time. And I think we have to bring
Mm,
it back to the fundamentals, sleep, nutrition, exercise, movement.
yes.
Because if your body is, suffering, if you're unhealthy, it's going to affect your well-being. It's going to affect your life because you can't get away from your body in this incarnation, in this plane. We have a body,
Yeah.
we have to take care of it, right? So, it's taking an honest look to your habits and like
Mhm.
Fanny said, good sleep, eating well, and moving your body whenever you can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one big thing is like moving your bodies in ways that you enjoy. Like we all have
Yes.
this preconception that we have to go to the gym. That's the way to do it. But it's like, do you
Mhm.
like going to the gym? Because if you don't, like find something else,
Yes, yes.
ways of moving.
100%. Yeah, 100% agree with that for sure.
Right. Yeah.
I saw this quote the other day was like the best type of exercise is the one that you're going to do. Because like
Yes.
sometimes people will recommend things and you won't do it because it's just not your thing.
Yeah.
But you can find other ways to move your body and to, exercise. It doesn't have to be something traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%. And I loved how you touched on habits earlier, because I feel like,
Yes.
and along with the quick hacks, that we
Hmm.
all want these quick fixes.
Yeah.
And you look at how long it took us to create this experience that we're having right now. You
Hmm.
know, if you've like, for example, if you've been struggling with like excess weight or painful periods, we'll say, for like 15, 20 years, you know, well, you can't expect it to like change right overnight or within the same cycle or to lose all the weight within a month, you know? I was like, again, talking to my best friend is visiting me right now, and we've just been like bouncing back and forth on so many things. She's also a holistic nutritionist, and
Okay, cool.
and so
Yeah.
fun. And it's like, if you were to tell someone that like you could lose the excess weight within a 2-year period, like what would you think? And most people are like, oh, 2 years is too long.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you've been like holding on to this weight for like acquiring this weight for 15
Yeah.
years, 2 years is nothing if that means you'll have it off for the rest of your life. And usually
Mhm.
2 years is a big window.
Exactly.
Like that, it can be gone like in less time than that as well. But I
Hmm.
think we don't give enough credit to these small, doable changes and habits that we can implement one thing at a time,
Hmm.
um, that are going to build this healthy lifestyle and this
Yes.
holistic self-care practice, you know, that is going to help with your sleep, that's going to help with how you're eating. It's like
Hmm.
one little thing. One question that I really like to reflect on is like, if I start this today, do I see myself still doing it in a year from now? You know,
Ooh, that's
if
good.
you
That's good.
don't, then it's like, okay, well, change it. Like maybe it's like cut it, like make it a shorter one, you know?
Yeah.
Like for example, like working out is something that I don't want to say that I've struggled with exercise, but I've struggled with finding the right types of movements. And I was at the point where I needed to narrow it down to literally like 5 minutes a day at times. Because I'm like,
Hmm.
I know that 5 minutes I'll do no matter what. I cannot talk
Right.
myself out of 5 minutes. And gradually over time it increased, and now it's well incorporated, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's
This
finding
is
like the right changes.
100%. It's very, very important for this message. Like, guys, rewind this if you can and listen to it again, because I'm seeing this a lot with my patients as well. If you can't do something that's sustainable, you're not going to get the results that you want, because it's always going to come back to the original habits. So you have to do things gradually. Such a powerful statement. Fanny, we're
Mm,
running out of time already. I wish we could do 2 episodes because it's
I
so
know.
interesting. We completely like improvised. I had questions, but this is so much more interesting that what I had planned in my head. So thank you so much for going with the flow with me.
Love
Yeah.
it.
All right, so let's go
Mm,
into the last two questions. The first question is, what is your definition of a goddess?
mm. I love that question.
Hmm.
When I picture, when I think of the word goddess and what that feels like to me, I really picture like a liberated woman, you
Mm.
know,
Hmm.
someone who's like fully just in her body, who's glowing, who feels just confident, radiant. She knows her
Hmm.
worth. She knows that she has value just because like you're here, you exist. You have value, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and I think of someone who's just like beaming with joy
Yeah,
and magnetic, and yeah,
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
just like this
Yeah,
powerful energy to
yeah.
her.
I love what
Mhm.
you said that we exist, therefore we're worthy, right? That's something that I absolutely agree with. Um,
Mm.
yes, beautiful. And what if you could go back in time and speak to your younger self at any point in your life, what would you say?
Mm. Mm. Hmm.
You have to think about that one a bit.
I do have to think there are so many moments in like knowing what I know now.
Mhm.
I would go back to my teenage self and just support her and like trust the path that you want to take. Trust the path that you want to take. I was so confused when I was in high school and deciding what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I had applied for like, I think 7 different programs. Like I was in university,
Me too.
college.
Like three or
Really?
four, I think. Yeah, it was bad. I was all
Yes.
over the place.
And it's interesting. And I ended up going the same. So my background was in engineering. I went to school for engineering technology, and I was in the
Okay.
construction field for the first 5 years of my adult career life. But I knew right away that that's not what I wanted. And life just had this beautiful way of
Yeah.
steering me back towards health and well-being. Because what I originally wanted to do was be a psychologist and like a doctor. And I'm realizing now that like becoming a naturopathic doctor would have been
Yeah.
like my ideal path. But now I'm
Mhm.
just finding other ways to serve in a similar way. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I would just go back to that, like trust in what you want to do, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's solid advice. Like trusting yourself, trusting that whatever, like, whatever calling that you feel, I
Mhm.
think is the universe that gave you. So really trust that.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's
100%.
there for a reason, and
It's there
God
for a
wouldn't put
reason.
desires in your heart if you didn't have what it takes to follow through on
Yes.
them and to achieve them, right?
Chills, chills. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Fanny.
Yes.
This was an amazing conversation. I'm so happy you were able to come on the show. So the people listening, where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram right now. My Instagram handle is at Fannie Lang, FANNIELANG. And my Facebook, it's Fannie Lang Holistic Health. I'm in the process of like revamping my website and all of my business structure actually. So I will have more available in the near future. But right now, social media is where it's at.
Perfect. So I will put all the links in the description wherever you're tuning in, YouTube, Spotify, everything will be in the description. So thank you so much again, Fanny. This was amazing. For all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I know you learned something new today. I know that this episode most definitely made you feel good, feel something powerful, because truth is something that gives chills, and I had a few chills during this episode. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. So sending you
Mm.
all the love and the light and
Mm.
the Reiki energy. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.